We are in Ocala, the horse capital of the world today, going to a horse auction and kind of want to see what's going on. I don't think this is like a thoroughbred racehorse auction where the horses are going to be $500,000, but there are a lot of horses here and I'm interested to see what they've got and how much they'll go for. First off, I came to Florida because I thought it would be warm in the winter, but it's been freezing cold. It's 49 degrees right now. It was like 40 last night, so I'm hoping the indoor arena will be a little toastier. There ended up being over 200 horses at this auction, so there was quite a lot to do and look at throughout the whole day. And a lot of them were ranch horses and reining horses, and so it was very much a western feel. They had a few others, but I really just wanted to go to this auction and kind of see what's going on in Florida. You know, we're up from Virginia. I wanted to see what the horses were like and how the prices compared, and so we got a really good taste at this auction. This was one of the few English horses out there. As you can see, this horse would probably make a great dressage horse. This looks like some kind of warm blood, like a Dutch warm blood, or maybe has like a Dutch harness horse in there. So while there were a lot of good riding horses here, as you'll see later on, there were also a lot of young horses like yearlings, weanlings, and 2-year-olds. So that was a little interesting. But starting out, this is one of the horses I saw first off. I really liked him. I liked his stout little neck. And he looks more like a dun to me, but I guess he could be a bay. And I just thought he's a really good, stocky little horse, and that's the type of horses I like. This horse was cool because it almost had a Roman nose, and I really like Roman noses on horses. A lot of people don't, but I just think they're super unique. Although the last time I petted a horse at the auction, it bit me. Hey! This was a red roan, 15-hand, 6-year-old quarter horse, and I just thought she was really nice, nicely built, very sweet, and the perfect size. Like 15 hands for me is the perfect size, maybe a little too big. I'm more of a pony girl. So here was another one I thought was really nice. 14 hands, perfect size, 9-year-old Palomino, very friendly, very beautiful. I love this shade of Palomino. I think it's very pretty. Her pasterns looked a little weird to me, and I couldn't tell if it was the sawdust. This was an Appaloosa I absolutely loved. I loved the really definitive white markings on the back, and just the contrast between the dun and the white was so beautiful. So of course, I have to go look at the Appaloosas. Here was an Andalusian. I wish we could have seen him move out or anything. I didn't see too much of him, but I love Andalusians. This was a shorter little Clydesdale. He was 15 hands. There was other Clydesdales with him that were massive. And so he was so tiny, I just was like, wow, I've never seen a Clydesdale that small. This was a nice grade mare. She was super friendly. With gray horses, you have to be careful of like sarcoids and growths, and I think she had one near her eye right there. But otherwise, she was super friendly. A lot of these horses at the auction had goopy eyes. I don't know if it was a bacteria within the area or they came in like that, but I just noticed that with a lot of horses. Here was a really nice 2-year-old. I just love this shade of Palomino too, just like that light. She was just beautiful, and I thought she was really pretty. This mare kind of broke my heart. She was 24 years old, in foal. She was stressed out so bad. And the thing about auctions is I'm like, would you rather see a horse stressed out or just sitting there drugged? So at least there were definitely some more stressed out horses at this auction, but I guess I'd rather see that than a drugged horse, because then I know, okay, at least the seller's being honest, and you know, horses would be stressed in that situation. There was something wrong with this horse's eye. I noticed that it wasn't dilating, and it just was really careful about me raising its hand to its face. It did not want my hand near its face. So I don't know if it was an eye problem or what exactly. These were cute little ponies. Of course I had to go see them. They reminded me of little Yoshi, but they were just adorable. I always go and look at the small ponies and just like the stocky little horses. So this was one horse my mom and I both really, really liked. She was a crossbred mare. She looked like she had to be some type of giraffe cross, but perfect size, 15-1. She was super sweet, and I just thought, man, this is my type of horse. The only thing is she was really fat. She kind of had a cresty neck and things, so I would be a little iffy about like founder or laminitis with her, and that would be my big concern. But otherwise, I loved her. This was a cute little bay, a little butt high, but just seemed really calm and cool. I'm like, well, this seems like a good horse to ride. Very sweet bay horse, quarter horse. Here was Max. He was a very sweet little boy. And some of these horses were so friendly. I was really purposeful this time about like going in and seeing the horses and petting them. This was a really sweet horse my mom liked. The only thing is, like, the goopy eyes. A lot of the horses had goopy eyes. And so I felt kind of bad about that. And that's the thing with auctions, is like, even no matter how fancy the auction is, it's still going to be stressful for the horse. Things can still get passed around, you know. This was a really nice looking English horse, probably a thoroughbred. But I just thought, man, this horse is classy. Could probably do well in the show ring, a big bay. Fancy was super unique. Just the color, you know, a red roan, but also just very light. And I just thought it was so unique looking. Although Fancy did not seem to really like me behind her. So I was like, okay, gotta get away. So this is where we start hitting the young horses. This was a 2-year-old quarter horse cross. Very sweet. It was kind of sad to see the young horses there, just because most of them were stressed. And it was just an overwhelming environment for them. I wanted to take them all home, of course. This was a really cute little yearling. This one probably seemed the most relaxed out of all of them. Well, I say that as I see this one laying on the ground. Of course, Percheron yearlings are literally the cutest thing you will ever see. Like, I just think they're adorable, and this one was chilling. This was a Clydesdale cross, I would say, but once again, you can see the goopy eyes here. And this one was a bit more stressed out. And it's just sad. Like, I understand auctions, and, you know, these are, I would say these are a bit higher end auctions, but you still have problems within the horses that you can see and find. And auctions can be stressful for horses, so it's just a double-edged sword, because you can get horses cheap there, but it's also stressful for the horse. This was my ultimate favorite horse. If I were to take one home, I would have taken this one home. He was a yearling. He was absolutely adorable and just so sweet and cute, and I felt so bad for him. My mom liked this little gypsy cross, very friendly. This was a mare, but they were very cute and just super sweet. And you can see my mom, you know, she was like praying for every horse that they go to a good home. The babies especially were hard to see, but you know, it's a good environment for them to experience, like the chaos and all of that, but it can be hard on them, and that's the hard thing about auctions. I found this horse unique because you can't really tell in the video, but it was so dark. I've never seen a horse that black. It was just like pitch black. No like faded sunspots or anything like that. He was beautiful. So I thought he was cool. Here was a cute little mini that reminded me of Yoshi. Just chilling in the back, eating their hay net, not a care in the world. And minis are popular at these auctions too. They usually have quite a few minis that people can look at. Taquito was cool. I love the Grulas. You don't see a whole lot of Grulas around where I'm from. And so, of course, I had to take a peek there. This was another quarter pony strawberry roan. Although it looks more like a chestnut roan, if that's a thing. But very pretty, very unique coloring. Little Joe was probably the smallest horse there. He was 34 inches tall, super cute. I wish I could have pet him. But the last time I tried to pet a miniature pony at an auction, it bit me, so. This was the Appaloosa we saw in the exercise ring earlier. Very cute, very hardy, like a very hardy horse. You can see it has kind of a skin problem up near its ear, and quite a few horses actually have that. I don't know if it's because, you know, we're in Florida and that's just something horses deal with here, but I liked how hardy this little Appaloosa was. Here was a little mini Appaloosa. He was clipped, so he was really cold that day and he was shivering. This is probably the prettiest horse that was at the auction. I don't think this one may have not even been for sale. Well, I can see the number on his butt, so I guess it was, but just the markings were so beautiful. This was the only mule at the auction, and my mom loves mules, so of course we had to take a look. He also had the skin problem that I mentioned earlier, where you can just tell they were rubbing or scratching. This was a nice little chestnut in the warm-up ring that I really liked. It just seemed to move well, it just seemed to seem relaxed. The auction ring was chaotic when they warmed up. It was a smaller arena, and so it was kind of hard to see. There was just a lot of people in there. This was a really nice, this is that Dutch warm blood or harness horse, and I was surprised how cheap that horse sold for, only $15,000. And for the rest of the auction, horses went for very reasonable prices. And I was very surprised about that because I'm thinking, okay, we're down in Florida, we're in the horse capital of the world, these horses are going to be going for a lot. But they were definitely cheaper than the same type of auction in Virginia. This was a really nice gray horse that I thought moved so well. I think the rider had dressage training, and you could tell this horse had it as well. And just a very nice horse, only sold for $7,500. That just surprised me. And, you know, I would say that horse is well worth maybe $15,000 to $20,000 at least. The Mini went for $3,500. This was a super cute Appaloosa Mini. This also was a very nicely trained Palomino mare. And, you know, it seemed to have really nice ground manners, really nice slow gaits. Only went for $5,000. So I'm like, man, well, the next time I need a horse, I'm going to come down here and get one. Just because they were so cheap. I don't know if it's the economy or if it's just cheaper down in Florida, which is not what I expected. But you can see here, these prices are crazy. Like this nice reining horse went for $7,500. This horse was interesting. He moves a little weird if you're not knowing what to look for. They said he was a gaited cross, but they didn't say what he was. I think he was a Pasofino cross because he moved his legs really fast like that, but it also looked like he hadn't had the proper training to carry himself right. And so he just moved a little weird. This was a 2-year-old stallion. He was very beautiful. I love the markings. They were selling him for a breeding program, ideally. He went for $5,700, so that seemed like a pretty good deal to me. This was a nice filly, untrained, so she went for $3,500. So overall, it seemed like the horses were going for way less at this auction than any other auction I've been to, kind of at like this caliber. And I don't know if it's because of the economy or what. Maybe horses are just cheaper in Florida, but I wouldn't expect that. But yeah, I was really shocked. Like some of those nice cutting horses or reining horses were going for like under $10,000. There was a lot of young horses here, and that was kind of sad just because you see them handling the environment, and a lot of them were stressed, and then a lot of the horses had goopy eyes. I was like, okay. So that's the thing with auctions, is like you don't ever really know what you're gonna get when you show up. That's the hard thing, because it's like you just gotta do your due diligence and hopefully you make a good decision. So it was an interesting experience, to say the least.